Hello, this is part one of a planned series of videos to help people learn the basics of VFX modding and FF14. In order to edit VFX, you will need to install the plugin VFX Editor, which can be found in download mode. So, let's start with the most basic question: what are VFX in Final Fantasy? These are visual effects that come from actions such as spells, attacks, and emotes. This is things such as fireballs and lasers, but it can also be full screen effects, camera shakes, and some lighting effects. Final Fantasy, these are stored in the AVFX files, and we can edit these with the VFX Editor plugin. VFX Editor has grown over the years and covers much more than VFX. In these videos, we will mostly be focusing on the VFX tab, but it's good to have a general idea of some of these file types and how they interact. TMB files are at the top for most actions. These are basically master files or timeline files that call VFX, PAP, SCD, other TMBs, and have many other features. SCD files are the sound files that can be called by either TMB or VFX. Text files are textures, 2D images that are used by the VFX files. PAP files are character movements and animations such as attacks and emotes. PAP files also have an internal TMB, which in turn can have its own VFX, SCD, and other features. There are other file types and different interactions that are not displayed on this graphic, but this covers the essentials for these videos. Let's start off with the very basic replacement. First field is loaded. This is going to be the source or template VFX, and the second one is the VFX being replaced. Opening it up, there are many options on how to search for VFX. The straightforward ones are action, these are player actions, then we have non-player actions, and common. Common has a lot of common effects that people use, as well as ones that are hard to find sometimes and unnamed effects. NPC lets you search for VFX that are tied to NPCs and bosses. The gimmick tab are VFX we see in zones that are used during fights, but not always coming from the boss or NPCs themselves. Zone has a lot of background and weather effects. So for this first example, what I'm going to do is a replacement of the Paladin's Holy Circle. I see two options for this one from the caster and one for the target. I want to replace both of them with an icy effect. For the caster, I'm going to be using the Black Mage spell, Blizzard 2, and for the target, I found a nice effect from the Eden Shiva fight, and I will find this under the Gimmicks tab. So, for the first one, VFX being replaced, Holy Circle, just press this play button to spawn it once on my character, make sure I got the right one, and I'm going to select it. Loaded, action, Blizzard 2. Then I will create another replacement. Choose the target. Then I will go under Gimmick. The name of that zone is Great Glacier. And I already searched for this one ahead of time, so I know it's going to be on 21, number 3. That's it right there. Now, I just hit update on both of these once I have the replacement, and I can check it out, see how it looks. And as we can see right here, I have the Blizzard 2 cast coming out of the Paladin, and the icicles coming out of the target whenever they're hit by it. This can be a complete mod right here. When I'm done, I can just go to export, select Penumbra, and then I can just name it however I'd like. Make sure I choose the VFX that I edited right here. And then it's just exported and it can be loaded up into Penumbra and just used as any other mod. Before moving on, I wanted to bring attention to saving. Save often and also save multiple versions every so often. When you save a file for these projects, they are saved as a workspace file type. And while there is an edit undo option, this lets you undo some actions or changes you might have done. These are not saved in between sessions, which is why I think it's always a good idea to save multiple versions just in case you change something, come back to it later on, and realize you might have made a mistake. Next, let's go into some basic editing. There are many tabs, but when starting fresh, you can do a lot with just the parameters tab. Revised scale and color are really reliable for minor alterations. Position and rotation are dependent on something called binders, which will be covered in a later lesson. For size, positions, and rotations, there are 3 fields. They're not labeled, they just have 3 fields across, and these represent X, Y, and Z. I like to think of X as the left and right, Z is forward and backward, Y is elevation or height. For colors, this is standard RGB, red, blue, green. So let's do something simple like making this spell a bright magenta or pink. So it has the colors here. 1 is the default, or it's 100%. What I'm going to do is set the revised color for 2 on the red and blue. I can hit spawn right here to see what it looks like now. And there we go. I think that's the color I want. When you're spawning these, it has this gear symbol right here that lets me set it for a loop, unlike when you're searching for them. Now, when I am spawning them, it is fine for me to edit them as long as I don't hit the update button just before it spawns again. That'll cause game crashes. So early on, you might not want to be doing edits while you're doing spawn loops and just do an edit, spawn it, and then stop spawning it to check your work. Next, I'm going to adjust the size of this. I want both effects to actually be a little smaller on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the revise scale, which changes the X, Y, and Z altogether. I think I want 0.6. I'm going to set the same color for this and have it be 0.6. Update. Okay, just a little smaller on that one. And a little smaller on this one as well. And now let's check this spell in combat to make sure it looks right. And this looks correct. This concludes the first part of this series. I'd like to thank my fellow modders and the students at Baldessian for helping me put this together. Check out the links in the description of this video if you want to learn more. Thanks for watching.